All right, picture this. It's the bottom of the ninth, tie game, 2 outs. The crowd's on its feet, everyone's screaming. But up in the front office, someone's staring at a spreadsheet. Think about basketball. Hitting a three-pointer in the first quarter of a blowout isn't the same as hitting one with 10 seconds left in a tied game. Or football. A 10-yard completion on 3rd and 9 is huge, but the same 10 yards on 3rd and 15, meaningless. Analytics adds context. It doesn't just say what happened, it asks when, where, and how much it mattered. That's where metrics like win probability added come in. They measure how each play changes your team's chance of winning. It's no longer about collecting stats, it's about weighing them. All right, picture this. It's the bottom of the ninth, tie game, 2 outs. The crowd's on its feet, everyone's screaming. But up in the front office, someone's staring at a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet, believe it or not, might have as much to do with who wins this game as the guy standing in the batter's box. Welcome to Sports Analytics, turning data into competitive edge. In this first episode, we're going to look at the moment the numbers started to change the way sports were played, coached, and valued. This is the story of how data stopped being something for statisticians and started being the secret weapon for winners. In the early 2000s, a small market baseball team, Oakland A's, did something radical. They stopped listening to gut instinct. For decades, scouts had relied on phrases like, "he looks like a ball player," or "he's got that swing." But Oakland's general manager, Billy Beane, didn't have the money to compete with teams like the Yankees or the Red Sox. So instead of outspending them, he outsmarted them. He and his staff started looking for undervalued players. Guys who got on base a lot, even if they didn't look like athletes. Guys other teams didn't want. And they found a stat that became legendary. On-base percentage, or OBP. It sounds simple, but it changed everything. Because what matters in baseball isn't how you get on base. It's that you do. That idea that the right metric can flip the entire system was the birth of modern sports analytics. Before this shift, baseball lived and died by batting average, the percentage of at-bats that ended in a hit. The problem? Batting average ignores walks. If you draw a walk, meaning you reach base safely, it doesn't count toward your average. But if your goal is to score runs, what really matters is not making an out. So OBP captures something batting average misses, a player's ability to help his team keep the inning alive. Let's say player A hits 300 but never walks, and player B hits 270 but walks all the time. OBP tells us player B is more valuable because he creates more chances to score. That's the kind of insight you only see when you question the stat everyone else takes for granted. Once that door opened, it flew open. Every sport started asking, wait a second. What really matters? Baseball gave us WAR, wins above replacement. It tries to answer, how many more wins does this player contribute compared to a random bench player? Basketball gave us PER, player efficiency rating. It doesn't just count points, it looks at everything a player does. Rebounds, assists, steals, turnovers, and then rolls it into one number. Soccer introduced expected goals, or XG, a stat that measures the quality of a shot, not just whether it went in. A tap in from 2 feet out is worth more than a 30-yard rocket. Each of these stats tells the same story. Activity isn't the same as impact. Traditional stats treat all moments as equal, but they're not. Think about basketball. Hitting a three-pointer in the first quarter of a blowout isn't the same as hitting one with 10 seconds left in a tied game. Or football. A 10-yard completion on 3rd and 9 is huge, but the same 10 yards on 3rd and 15, meaningless. Analytics adds context. It doesn't just say what happened, it asks when, where, and how much it mattered. That's where metrics like win probability added come in. They measure how each play changes your team's chance of winning. It's no longer about collecting stats. It's about weighing them. Let's bring this to life. Here's player A. 300 average, barely walks. Player B. 270 average, walks a ton. Old school wisdom says player A is the better hitter. The analytics say otherwise. Because while A gets more hits, B gets on base more often. And every time someone gets on base, the probability of scoring a run goes up. So over the course of a season, player B produces more runs, more wins, and more value. That's the heart of this revolution. It's not about collecting more data. It's about finding better meaning in the data you already have. Recruiting changed. Player development changed. Even how coaches think about risk changed. The same logic that revolutionized baseball moved into basketball, football, soccer, hockey, and even tennis. Coaches started using data to pick lineups, track fatigue, and predict matchups. Scouts used it to uncover hidden talent. Owners used it to negotiate contracts and build smarter rosters. The ripple effect went beyond sports. It showed businesses, governments, even healthcare leaders that you could make smarter decisions when you stop asking, who looks good, and start asking, what works. It's about realizing that metrics don't just measure, they motivate. They shape how people train, what they value, and how they define success. Every player, every team, every organization is built on some definition of performance. The question analytics asks is, does that definition still make sense? And when you change the way you measure performance, you change everything. In the next episode, we're going to get hands-on. We'll build a predictive model that scouts could actually use to forecast player success, using the same mindset that powered the Moneyball movement. Because once you understand how metrics change the game, the next step is learning how models predict the future,